You know what it is. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Get established. Let's go.
This is the Get Established Show Live, where we're all about awareness and support of our community, building within and beyond it. My name is Shine, and I'm here with my brother, Chilla, D. Jones. Please like, share, and subscribe, and smash that like button for our upcoming shows. A link will be provided in the chat so that you can join in on the conversation or just comment in the chat. Let's do it. All right. The individual opinions expressed on here do not reflect the show as a whole and the goal of joining in and supporting our community. So with that said, D. Jones,
What up?
you know how we do.
What's going on, fellas?
No,
This
not
the
much, man.
deal.
Some of that early morning action. How was y'all Saturday, man?
Yeah.
Relaxing. You know, we
Cool,
got,
cool.
yeah.
We got I know I got to partake in that chicken of the woods, so,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they dropped it.
they dropped that. It's hot like hotcakes, buddy. So
So
you
so
ain't gonna get
when
no
when
better
when
lick on
she
that.
when she has it, it sells out pretty fast.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what I mean?
And and,
Shoot.
and for
Some,
those that don't know what we're talking about, Raymond, give them a little history.
All right, chicken in the woods is a mushroom that's grown in the in forest, and it actually grows on trees, and it's like a real meaty like texture to it, and it's because it's an edible mushroom, all also, but it's just a very hearty tasting mushroom. It tastes like chicken almost.
So for y'all plant based slash vegan slash healthy eaters, chicken of the wood be right up your alley.
yeah,
It
I
Yeah,
would
mean,
be.
that's the best one that tastes close to chicken. You can
yeah.
barbecue it, you
Uh,
can fry it, whatever. I mean, other mushrooms and other stuff, you can make it taste like it, but chicken of the wood, you ain't really got to do much to
And see, I
it.
haven't had it. I'm not privy to it. I'm here in Atlanta, and I haven't found an establishment that has it. But in VA, the Hampton Roads area, uh, you want to give a shout out to the business, Shine?
I, of course, I'm gonna give a shout out to Siobhan Alexander of Desmond's Island Soul Food Grill. She
Shout out.
is the chef around here, the vegan chef around here. You heard it
That's what's
here.
up. That's what's up. That's what's up. I can't wait to try some. Hopefully, I'll be in the area and she'll have some. You got anything going on, Chella, before we get started?
No, I mean, this weekend we had the Mojo Festival, so that's been jumping.
What
Oh
is the
yeah, yeah,
Mojo
yeah, yeah,
Festival?
yeah.
Celebrates. Come on, dude. Everything you would hear when a
I mean,
Mojo was
man,
going
I
on.
ain't
It's a
asking
black
you that for
festival,
my.
man.
Yeah, there we go.
It's a festival, a black festival where everybody come together once a year. Usually be raining during that time, or it seemed like. But this year it wasn't raining. Usually they have like performances at nights, Friday, Saturday, and I think the Sunday. Today it got gospel. Sometimes it usually be on Mondays, but this year I think it's just the last day of the day. It's just a black festival, man. It goes down in downtown Portsmouth.
Hey,
So
let
if
me.
you in the area, please check out downtown Portsmouth, the Mojo Festival. Go ahead, Sean.
I was just gonna. So before we get in or go in, Dion gave the most truest comment right now. That cocoa bread that Siobhan got is fire. So that's all I gotta put that out there. I got to. It's fire.
No
I
doubt. You know what?
100% co-sign on that.
So Chris, when I come back in town, I wanna definitely try it. I've been to the establishment a few times and the food is amazing, but I've never had the cocoa bread.
Yeah, yeah, cocoa bread. Yeah. That's raining thing there.
That's right.
He
So
fiend like
Shine,
some.
don't
Look,
don't
he
let me
fiend
forget.
like somebody fiending for nicotine, man. They
That's
got to have
right.
that cocoa breath.
That's right.
Gotta have it. Gotta
That's
have it.
right.
That's what's up, man. Cool. So let's jump right into it. The day's podcast title: Who gets to decide? Understanding the learned behavior and influence on a child's behavior throughout their life. All right. With that being said, we're gonna jump right into it. First question: Do you believe children under 5 are aware of the sexual orientation?
I'm gonna say hell no. They're not aware. I mean, I hear a lot of crazy talk, man. All but it's kind of people tell you they remember born, but I challenge anybody. Majority of the people cannot even remember the activities they did it to. They can't even have memories of to. Most people don't start remembering what they did until they're about 5 or 6 years old. If they right now, you my age, you can't tell me you remember everything and every day and every idea that you had when you was 2 years old. And that too, ain't nobody worrying about, a girl or a little guy. I want to be a girl. You are taught these things. You know what I'm saying? You start being dressed in pink or you be wearing blue. Most kids don't know each other. That means a little girl and a little boy don't really know the difference unless they are taught. So when somebody talking about you could be a little girl or you could be a little boy, that's something somebody's coaching, that's somebody's teaching, that's somebody's showing them. A child is innocent. Only thing they doing is picking up habits. People are showing, doing, and telling them. They are just learning. Their mind is not even mature yet. It's still developing. So you got people who are telling these children things, and these children just mimicking what they seeing. You just learning. That's all they doing. They just learning.
All right. I tend to agree with Chris. Because a lot of things, especially if the child is growing up in the environment that they're being raised in, they're getting influenced by the the parents and the people that are growing up around them. So it's to say that. Well, let me ask. Y'all want me to throw up this those age the age things
Yeah.
and what they
You
you
can
throw
throw
that up.
all
Absolutely.
that information is
Absolutely.
good, man.
Absolutely.
We can build on all that information, man. If you want to throw it up, throw it up.
Yes, let's do that. Let me go to it.
But
Yeah.
in the
Y'all gotta
Y'all
give
go ahead
him a
meantime,
while
minute. He
y'all go
we're
getting
while.
it.
just gonna say why he getting a minute. Like I said, this is learned behavior. Most people, when you grow up, like I grew up around my grandma, so a lot of times I did what my grandma and granddaddy did growing up, and they had me since I was 2. So a lot of things I learned and did was from them.
All right,
So
so
right here, read the question. Let me get back into it.
it says, how does gender identity develop in children? And one of the first, or they said in stages, around age 2, children become conscious of the physical differences between boys and girls. Let me reference that this is from healthychildren.org. This is just a website for nonprofit website for, for children, but this is particular. That's what they're saying. Around age 2, children become self-conscious of their physical differences between the physical difference between boys and girls. Before their third birthday, it says most children can easily label themselves as either a boy or a girl. And by age 4, they're saying most children have a stable sense of their gender identity.
That's some nonsense, man. And I'm gonna tell you why, man. I'm gonna tell you why. Growing up in Portsmouth, Virginia, in my era, all the kids used to go outside, right, man. We played baseball,
Mm.
football, basketball, kickball, softball, and who was playing with the boys right beside them? The girls. And there was this terminology that was used back in the 80s and even the 90s called a tomboy. These
Mm.
girls outside, because they were athletic, they played, they wrestled, they did everything the boys did, but they were still girls. They were still girls. So because they were able to do the same things we do, and some of them even did it better than we did it as far as sports, does that make them a boy? No. It does not. It does not. They were just able to come out, play with us, learn some of the skills we were learning at the same time, and it was no big deal. At 2 years old, I wasn't thinking about whether I was a boy or a girl. All I wanted to do was play. All I wanted to do was play. My thing is, when did this become a thing where sexuality is being pushed on kids? When did it become a thing? Because I know at a young age, I wasn't even thinking about that. That wasn't even a thought at
Mm-hmm.
all. I didn't even
Yeah.
know, and this may sound crazy, at the age of 3, 4, and 5, I didn't even know girls sat down and used the bathroom. I didn't know that.
Well,
I'm just being
all
honest.
us sat down and used the
No, no, no.
bathroom.
I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just
no, it
no,
come
no, no.
out where
I'm
when
just
we stand up, they sat down. They talking about that
Right,
part.
right,
yeah,
right.
You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Come on, man.
All I'm saying. So when did this become a thing? Why is it pushed on children?
It's
Sexuality. Why
it's
is it
an
so important
it's
that
an
we even having these discussions? Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
it's an agenda, man. I mean, come on, man. It's like, why would a child doesn't care at that age about sex? They doesn't care about, okay, I want to be a girl or boy. This is somebody who is manipulating the thoughts of the children to take on these identities and thoughts. You got people talking about I was born this way. I mean, I can be real crazy and say I was born as a Japanese and get around them and saying I'm a regular Japanese and I'm not born Japanese. It's like I can't say I'm not born black. I'm born black. But when you saying you were born somewhere at 2 and 3, I was feeling this way all my life. Me myself, I don't believe that. I believe you might have some estrogen and you feel feminine. I believe you might have some testosterone in you and you feel more masculine. But the problem is, you at 2, 3, 4, you don't even understand being a girl or a boy. You still learning things, and most things we are doing, we are learning from other people. People basically tell you who you are. People dress you up as a certain way. People tell you this is what boys were. You hang around boys and you see how boys play. They play more basketball, football, little stuff. We play hide and seek. Girls and boys play that. But even when, like you were saying back in the days, girls were playing double dutch and Bobby Jack when we were growing up in this outside. All us playing outside. Some of them played around. We played softball. We played all that type stuff together. But the thing is, this is a taught behavior. You only adapt to what people teach you.
Well, let me take it to the ages that we were initially talking about, that 2 to 5 year range or 4 year range. I mean, as that is coming up, you just becoming to into like a social atmosphere in your life. Like, say for instance, at 2 or 3 or something like that, you're being introduced to other little young toddlers your age, because it's like you're getting introduced to preschool, um, other things like some parents might have friends that have kids, so y'all get to know each other. It's no such thing as you knowing exactly what whether this a girl or a boy in that sense, because it's like you're young. All you doing is just think about, hey, this is another person, a little person, look like, I mean, that's the same height as me, that he looked a little bit different, but he look, we the same, so we going playing and not even thinking about whether or not anything, unless your parents say to you, hey boy, stop doing this, or hey girl, stop doing that, or whatever you name them, hey, stop doing that, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Those are the things that you understand is what's being told to you, not what you sitting up here telling yourself, oh yeah, hey, I think I'm a boy, or I'm a girl, or whatever like this. It's like whatever you going by what is shown to you by experience,
So,
experience that they given, that you being given, and you being shown by somebody else.
so Sean, you're basically saying this is learned behavior.
Yes, I'm saying it's learned behavior.
And for those who would challenge this being learned behavior, I would ask you to think about certain things when a kid is growing up. we teach them fear. If a child falls, they wait to see how you react before they react. They're learning.
Yeah.
So if you get all upset, what are they gonna do? They gonna get upset.
They gonna cry.
When a child learns how to speak, their tone, which what they speak in, they're learning it from you. So when things don't go right and you yell at a child, when things don't go right with that child, what you think they're gonna do? They're gonna yell at you. These are learned behaviors. So why would you think in this scenario that these behaviors are not being taught?
You said a violent point right there. These are learned behaviors, just like a minute ago. I guess even before we started talking, uh, just like our language. If you around somebody Spanish and they talking Spanish the time, and the child listen, the child gonna pick up learning Spanish because it's a young mind. So that's all they hearing all day. Then you put them still in a young age, and somebody's talking English, and they listen and they trying to communicate. The child gonna easily start picking up because it's easy to teach a child start talking English. I mean, they only learn what you introduce to them. So if you introduce them these things that we call it now, everything that's going on social media, these young kids dancing certain ways, all this is learned behavior that they are watching adults do, and they just trying to mimic an adult. I remember when I was young, and even if I'm not even getting into another scenario on this, but even if a young girl did something that was adultish, older folks used to smack that child and say, "Stop being a fast with your fast." Pow. You know what I'm saying? If a young man did something that was too adultish for him to do, the old people used to smack, "Stop being fresh." You know what I'm saying? Today, it's cute watching young ladies, too young to and that not even mature enough to know what they're doing because they just mimicking adults doing certain things. And oh, that's cute. No, it's not cute. Some things shouldn't even be done and shouldn't be entertained. But we, in our state of mind of thinking, when we see young kids, we coaching and think it's cute them doing it. It's no different than you see a child playing with a gun, pow, pow, then he playing with, oh, that's cute, boom. Then a young kid out here shooting. Oh, it ain't cute when it's to the adult and you can't tell them, but these are learned behaviors. And then you want to taint it when they're out of control at a certain age. When they are 2 or 3, these are innocent kids. They don't know no better. And if you can't direct them or teach them proper ways of acting, like you teach a girl, cross your legs, don't have your legs open, stuff like that. They 2 and 3, you got to teach them stuff like that. You don't want no girl got her legs open and her drawers open and it's her skirt hanging wide open and she's 8, 9, 10 in front of a grown man or anything like that. That's not even cute. But these are things that's our learned behavior, and you got to guide and to teach children how to act. You got to teach them how to act around people. You don't know the mentality of whoever these people are around. I mean, be careful what people say, man. I remember a gentleman because he had a granddaughter, and a dude, and the daughter won't granddaughter, I think probably was 6 at the time, had audacity to say something out of pocket like, "Oh, she looks sexy," and he went blaming on this gentleman. And when you understand what he's saying, why would you even say that out your mouth about a young lady at 6 years old? You don't know the mentality of these people. They picking up their phones, they recording. You know, dance, little mama, and people, and you don't know these people pedophiles. You are sporting our children. We got to be careful. No reason I say that because I feel like we should protect our children. We got to be the village. We can't just allow certain things and activity happen. To some people mind, they think pedophilia ain't real. They don't think people are snatching these little kids. But you are putting advertisement and making your children more adultish or addressing a certain way that we need to guide and protect our children. This is not a game. This is not a show. So when we speaking out here, we speaking from our heart. Some things that we pick up and children pick up, they don't understand. They just growing into a situation that somebody's coaching, teaching them, and making them think this is okay to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
go ahead,
Go ahead,
son.
D. Go ahead, D. I mean,
I want to touch on this. One of the next questions I was going to ask was, what are the impacts of learned behavior on a child's development? Well, it has me thinking, and I don't mean to dwell on the past when we grew up, but it's a lot of things that were in place that kind of protected us from these things. And one of the things that I can remember is when adults gathered, even if an adult was on the phone, we were asked to leave the room. And that was because they didn't want us being involved in adult matters.
Mm.
Nowadays, kids are privy to this information. They're sitting around listening to adult conversations, sitting around looking at how adults react and interact to different things. And I think it's creating a situation where it does impact the child's behavior. How do y'all fellas feel about that?
I think that, like, I think I'm a reference what Chris says sometimes. He's like, the the um if the parents don't know no better, and they just around here just doing whatever in front of the kids, and they ain't even think about how the kids feel, then that's one of the issues. If you don't care about your child's growth and development in that way, then whatever they absorb, they take it in as far as what you do, as far as how you act around them and how you talk around your peers that you have there in the midst of them. So they're gonna pick up on all that. If you not being responsible enough to raise your kid in an environment, a healthy environment or an environment where you can separate um your recreation time with their time as far as being around you, then it's gonna be an issue where it's always gonna be those kids gonna pick up on stuff.
Well, let me just say this. It's actually borderline disrespect. It's a form of disrespect. Like you have no respect for your children. And I
Mm.
say that because it's certain things they shouldn't be exposed to. I remember there was a time when I was a child, if I walked in the room and my grandmother was on the phone or talking to an adult, we had company, the conversation would stop. They'd be like, hold up, wait a minute. What you need? And then whatever I had going on, they'd be like, okay, all right, you can go to your room now. So she showed me a level of respect. Like, I don't want to have this conversation around my grandchild. He doesn't need to be exposed to whatever we're discussing. These are adult matters. Let me see what he got going on. We'll pick up the conversation once he leaves. That's a sign of respect. You're showing your child it's certain things that you don't want them to be involved with because they are a child. And I think we've lost that. Like, and I hear young people say, I want to be respected. I want to be respected. And my thing is, respect is earned. I get that. But your child does deserve a certain level of respect from you. It's just certain things that you have to think about when it comes to your child. They didn't ask to be here. Okay, so you're putting them in an environment with toxicity and you're expecting them to act a certain way. Well, that goes against the grain. That's not gonna happen. You want them to be one way, but you're introducing them to all these things. And then they see you partaking in it. Whether it's drinking, whether it's smoking, whether it's sex, whether it's talking, the language, whatever it is, the music, you're introducing them to things that you do. And the thing is, it's a choice for you. It ain't a choice for them. And that's what we forget. This is not a choice for them. This is a choice for you. That doesn't make it the correct choice for them because you're old enough to make that decision. They're not. You want to say something, Chris?
I was just gonna piggyback off you on certain things what you were saying. It's like it's funny. Like I have read so many celebrities. Even when Anna name come up with the kids, maybe some of the adopted kids she got, she don't even allow them to watch TV, video, social media. She protects them because she's part of the entertainment. Because she knows what this whole influence of what their whole goal was to do to the minds of these young people. You can only be influenced by what you see. They say the gateway is the eyes, the ears, and certain times you can pick up certain things. So when they see these things, you can't erase the images they see. If they 2 years old now on social media and everybody's showing people being murdered, how do you think that affects a 2, 3, 4 year old child? They constantly on YouTube or on Facebook and they watching people fighting. They watching people getting shot. They watching somebody getting stabbed. They watching this. You know how that traumatic is? That's trauma. And these are young people trying to adopt. Then you got these sexual things, and every woman, almost 90% of the women, and it's sad, I don't care if they get offended, but they're always in some negligee or some type sexual thing and showing their bodies. These are little girls and guys got to grow up 3 years old on social media, going on the mama phone, want to play with it. This is what they got to be all the time viewing and seeing. They don't have no sensors. They don't have no sensors. And people don't look at this as causing an effect, because I'm looking at time when I was young to now and what the future looked like. I remember even Tupac say, "There's no hope for the future." You know what I'm saying? In a song. The thing is crazy. What are we looking at for the future for these kids? We
And,
so much
and,
being followers. There's no you. When we was young, we was taught not to follow, to be leaders. Everybody's a follower, man. I don't see no more leaders.
Uh,
We follow every trend, everything. We dance, everything, shaking our tails, everything that goes on. We are followers, not leaders. We
let,
lost our leaders.
let me say this. I want to comment on the just a brief comment on the sex thing with what D brought up. Um, I if it's, I guess the only exception to that would be if it's mommy and daddy, and just lock the door. Make sure you lock the door, because kids are very impressionable. But I mean, I understand everybody. You can't get too but so much. You can't do but so much. And I know one of them things is gonna be that. So just lock the door. Make sure hey, everything is secure, so that you don't get no kids busting in your door, because kids will bust in the door like that. That
well,
boom. I
and
don't
let,
care
and let
what
me say this.
age. I don't care what age. Boom, they gonna open the door. They gonna pop it over the door, because they feel like it's open invitation to go wherever they want to go. Just lock your door if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, and that's true. But I want to revisit this, and I just thought about something when Chilla was talking. Um, Ladies, and this is directed to you. You have to be careful what you do, how you act in front of your children. Just what you wear. You could be out. You have something very revealing on. You got men walking through the mall, the store, the sidewalk, looking at you. How do you think these kids feel? How many times have you seen videos where young boys or young girls are trying to cover up their mom because men are looking at them in a sexual manner? And you're out, and the kids are seeing these men gawk at you and look at you a certain way and
Eh,
make certain comments, because they're not being respectful to those kids. They see what they want, and they're saying something about it. I mean,
eh,
what? Go ahead, Sean.
nah, I don't mean to interrupt, but Ro want to join in on the chat. Bring
Oh,
him in,
absolutely. Bring them in. Bring them in. Bring them in.
brother Ro.
What's good? Good morning, fellas. Good morning.
What's up,
Morning,
bro?
sir.
What's happening, man?
What's going
Oh,
on,
What's
man?
happening,
It's
not
bro? We
much,
just
man.
it's
On my
it,
way to
thought
the
I'd
job
it's
bring
this
you
still
in
morning,
there.
coming in.
You,
checking y'all out. Just wanted to comment back on what D said a minute ago about, adults telling you to leave the room. When kids, when kids are in there with adults. You kind of got to be careful with that nowadays. You dig what I'm saying? Because the catch-22 to that is information right now is so readily available, more so than it was when we were coming through. So a lot of what we hide kids from or try to keep kids from, you remember what they tried to keep us from? We were curious and nosy enough to try to go find out about it. If you
That's true.
had parents getting together with kids the like age and they were in the room listening to a Richard Pryor album or watching a movie or something that the kids didn't want to be a part of, kids would take turns sneaking to try to see what they were listening to or try to see what they were watching. So us as adults in leading, sometimes even in the company of adults and children together, we got to mind our conversation to keep them included, because some of our conversations include structure and building. So we got to make them a part of that. How are they going to be an effective adult if they don't know how to be an effective adult? You get what I'm saying? Now, if you
No doubt.
got some, I remember spending time with my dad and him and his friends, softball games or whatever. They sitting in the car with the cooler. They had their beer and I had my beer. My beer was soda or whatever, but they had their brew. You dig what I'm saying? And then you sitting back there a few minutes and then you smell that funny smell. Daddy, that don't smell like the normal cigarettes you smoke. Shut up, boy. You get what I'm saying? So it's a catch-22. I've been exposed to a lot, as y'all have been exposed to a lot. But I think nowadays we have to adjust our parenting to the times, not adjusting the moral value of it, but just recognizing what's out there and making adjustments to become more effective parents and leaders in our households and in our communities.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that, Ro. I think we're talking about two different things, though. And I understand there are teachable moments when you talking about the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and there are conversations you should have with your kids and include your kids, and they should be privy to. But I'm saying in general, when the women are together and they're gossiping and they're talking about certain things that they don't want you to know about, I get that because even growing up with my grandmother, certain conversations I was included with, when it came to talking about the community, when it came about being a responsible young man, when it came about vetting women that you wanted to be in your life and a community. We talked about this in the past. The community raised me. It wasn't just
Mm-hmm.
raised by one person. It was the
Right.
community. So I totally agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on the topic of discussion. And you're right, even back then, we found a way to get certain information. But this is the difference between that. We knew the information that we found out that our parents were trying to protect us from. We knew the difference of
Mm-hmm.
Derek went off.
Oh,
But I'm gonna push it up another notch on what Rose said. That different. But what Derek trying to say now, you got a 3-year-old child, and this 3-year-old child doesn't understand his, like I said, sexuality or whatever. Now, the mother is a boy, but the mother feels like, you know what? I want to put my child in a dress, and I'm gonna send my child to school dressed up like a girl. And now you looking at this child doesn't really understand the dynamics of being a boy or girl because it's still developing and understanding. But the mama start treating this little boy like a girl. And this boy is wearing a dress, and other guys are looking at him like, little boys, like, mama, this boy wore a dress to school today. Now, this boy, you are coaching this boy to see
Mm-hmm.
his life in a direction that maybe he doesn't even truly understand. Then you got people who are in leadership that's teaching this child, little boy, you could be a girl, a little girl, you could be a boy. Now, I'm gonna ask you, if you got a 4-year-old son and you teaching your son to play baseball or basketball, and he 5 or 6 and he come to school and he tells you that the teacher put a dress on me and put fingernail polish on me, and he took it off and he come on explaining that, how would you feel as a parent that you like, hold up, you ain't asked me to do this. You did this behind my back. You
Oh,
up
that's
here putting fingernail polish on my son. You up here putting dresses on my son, and he feel humiliated. He want to play baseball and football. But this is what I'm saying. We are trying. When I say these are learned behaviors and talking about certain things, we're not talking about basically what's going on like growing up. We know we were just saying in reference when we was younger.
mm-hmm.
Parents told us to get out of the room. Some information wasn't for us to hear. Now, and
Oh
you
yeah,
right. I was
yeah,
curious. I did stuff because I was no, and you 100 right on Richard Pryor. I snuck
yeah,
around and played it where they were going too. I love Richard Pryor when I was young,
yeah.
7 I wanted to hear them words, but these are some of the lanes we picked up. Cause my dad didn't want me to hear the Richard Pryor album.
True
When he
that.
left, Derek could tell you, we played everything under the sun when he left. Cause we was like you said, we was curious. But at the same token, it's things that's going on in our society that we, as like the village, need to protect the children. Some people think it's cool to see children twerking, and you got this pedophile sitting there recording this. You don't know the mentality of these sick individuals. You are exposing your children to people, and then son, like what's that girl that got picked up or snatched was in the beauty pageant back in the 90s? Y'all said her name, Ramsey.
John
What's
Benet Ramsey.
yeah, I'm
John
saying
Bonet
you
Ramsey,
don't
yeah.
know what you're doing to
True.
exposing your children to these people. We got to
Yeah.
protect our children, man. They are our future. If you want leaders, you got to product them to be leaders. If you
Mm-hmm.
want strong women to be sister soldiers, you got to product them to be like this. What's the mentality that's going on? Children only pick up what they see and learn.
Yeah,
We are
I
the first
totally agree.
teachers.
Yeah,
Hey,
We
look,
teach at the house.
let
yes,
me
sir.
I guess let's throw a question out there that's kind of piggyback off what Rose said. How early should you start having conversations with your children before society gets to them?
And shoot, when you think they're old enough to understand,
Okay.
honestly, when the moment you decide to let them have a cell phone, that's the moment you should have these conversations.
Oh no, bro.
No,
Well,
listen at
I get you.
listen
I got you.
listen
I
listen at what
got
I'm
you.
saying. Listen at what I'm saying. The technology has sped up maturation and growth. Whether we want to acknowledge it or not, it has. So what we have to do is adjust our parenting. I'm not saying the core values and morals and structure are not important because they're essential. They're the foundation. We have to use that foundation. We have to make adjustments. It's just like okay, I'm gonna use D for an example when he bowling, Mr. 300. If he put a ball on the lane, when he put a ball on the lane and the lane ain't all right, he automatically knows based on how the ball rolls. So what does he have to do? He has to adjust his roll or adjust his approach to make sure he's still effective to get the right results. So not saying change our morals, but just make adjustments, game time adjustments with them, how we talk to them, letting them know what's grown and what's not grown, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. You get what I'm saying? That's everything y'all are saying is right. I'm not saying anything against what y'all saying, but all I'm saying is we can't raise kids in 2025 like we were being raised in 1985 or 1975. We can't do it. There's too
True
much other
indeed.
stuff going on. You got kids, you got 5-year-old kids, they got tablets, they got all this stuff with your babysitters so parents can do what they need to do. I gotta cook, I gotta clean, I gotta get your stuff ready. So while I'm doing this, take your tablet and sit down here. Now we can adjust. You got parental controls, but what about the cartoons that slip through the cracks and teach
Yeah.
these things? So that's why, sometimes everybody got to be a room because that in the end of the day, a lot of family members got them predators also. A lot of,
But
lot
check
No
of
this.
doubt.
people,
I got a
you know what
question
I'm
to ask
saying?
you. I got a question to ask you. Do you think a child should be exposed to a freak off? Now you a 4 to 8 year old child, and they got a freak off going on. Everybody doing that freak off. Girls, 30 people in there freaking off, and the children's like 4 children in there. Just y'all sit over there and they watching this freak off.
That's
This
sickness,
freak
bro.
off.
Come on,
That's
come
No,
on,
no,
sickness,
come
no.
on.
bro.
It is, the reason I
That's
say that
sickness, bro.
because the reason I say that is I can't. I don't want to get into this conversation because
Right.
it might sound ludicrous me saying that, but we have these certain parades, and I'm not even getting into it. And these parades, people are doing perverted things in these parades, and little children are right there witnessing this. And it was some real perverted things going on in these parades. If you do your research, you'll be shocked and your mouth will drop. But I'm not even going to get into that tune. But it was children there at these parades. It was like kind of freak out parades, and they was watching some things they shouldn't have been watching. All I'm saying is we at an age, and I know you're saying at different times, but we got to learn how to be conduct ourselves with children whose minds are not well developed, and be conscious of what we do in front of them because we can influence them in ways they're not mature and understanding what they're doing.
Hmm.
Well, what
Yeah.
happened to letting kids be kids? That's the whole thing. What happened to letting a child just enjoy being a child? See, we are so caught up in rushing the child development process. Let a child be a child. Let a child enjoy being a child. We're taking away these kids' childhood.
I wouldn't say that, D. You're not taking away the childhood. What you're doing is just adding extra tools to them and giving them foundation on what to be aware of. Kids can be kids all day long, but kids got to be aware of what's popping out here. It's a lot going on out here when we're not around. There's a lot going on in the schools. It's a lot of things happening
Mm.
that they need to be prepared for when we not around. Kids on the playground, it's just that's. I mean, it was a lot of stuff we were privy to, and a lot of stuff we did instinctively because we seen our parents do, like you spoke about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
right? But still, right now, because you don't have a lot of kids outside, you don't see a lot of kids outside no more. Not like
Yeah.
talking about it, especially if they got a game system. They in the crib.
Yeah.
I gotta check my son. I gotta check my son at least once or twice a week. Like, yo, your language. Dad, that's not me, that's them. But if I'm not around, I know you partaking in it. So, get yourself together, check them to keep
Mm-hmm.
you from getting in trouble. You get what I'm saying? It's not about not letting them be a kid. It's about the world has sped up. So we
But I'm
can't
gonna
keep
ask you this.
moving at 55
I'm
and,
gonna
and the
ask you this.
world going at 70.
I'm asking you this. What? How old is your
Mm-hmm.
child, Ro? How's your child?
He just turned 15.
We ain't even going to that age. We talking about kids is 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the
I know
whole
what you,
podcast about.
yeah,
And the thing
yeah,
is,
I understand totally.
these are the things they do when we even talk about if somebody's trying to change their sexuality. This is learned behavior somebody's teaching them. We are talking about when
Yes,
they
sir.
mimicking us or a girl humping a little boy at 5 years old. Where did they learn these activities from? Who's exposing them through these activities? You are looking at we are talking about we got when I'm saying I'm 15, you can make decisions. You choice 12, you making decisions. You more like your mind is more developed. We are talking about people, the children, that undeveloped mind, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We right in this circle right now. This is the whole conversation we are getting when he said let a child be a child. I'm not talking about a teenager. He's grown and he already in his ways and got his
No,
mind. He already developing himself. We are talking about kids that don't even have an understanding of things. They're just coming and learning, and they're just adapting to everything, and people are showing them and teaching them. That's all. This is this age, innocent.
but let
They
me get,
don't understand
let
nothing.
me get, I, yeah, I get that. But these kids have siblings, right?
True, you
So
definitely true,
you
and
got
they pick up from
15 year
them
olds,
too.
yeah, you got 15, 14 year olds babysitting their 8, 7, and 6 year old brothers and sisters. It passes down. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not just speaking from the perspective of a parent of a teenager. I'm speaking from a perspective of a parent. Period.
I mean,
Parenting
it's
doesn't
all
just start.
valid. It's all valid. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because
yeah. I'm just,
like you
yeah. That's
said,
what I'm just trying to give you some context of where I'm coming from and why. If a child is 6 or 7, if you're not teaching them about the world, they're gonna learn about it from their brother or sister.
Yeah, they
So you
that
got to
you
start
right.
somewhere with
Some
the
of them
struggle.
mimic their brothers, and like a little kid, they see his brother hustling and he 13 getting money. The little kid want to do the same thing, be a hustler just like his brother.
like I
You
told you
definitely right.
when I started, I wouldn't have started. I started drawing at the age of 5, and it was my brother that got me into that. It wasn't a thing where I was like, oh yeah, this is something that I wanted to do. It's just something that I caught on from him, and then once that came on, then the interest came in after that. Because then it's like I wanted to explore how I could do things that I see from other people, what they're doing, and how can I make mine look like this person or that person. It's all just like we've been talking about, learned behavior. You catch on to what you
Hmm.
gravitate towards and get and find interest in.
What I do appreciate,
Yeah.
Ro, I really appreciate you bringing that to light. I will
No
say
doubt.
that you made me think about we do need to start having different conversations with our 2, 3, and 4 year olds. If we're putting a phone in their hand, um, then we need to start having conversations with them. Because if they can understand how to navigate through a phone and some of these social media platforms, then we can have these conversations and they should be able to comprehend. Thank you, Ro.
And yeah, indeed, fellas, I'm gonna holler at y'all. And just to throw this disclaimer, these are my personal views. It has nothing to do with the people that I work for, because I am at my job right now. So to the plantation I go, man. But yo, hey man, y'all have a
Right,
safe
right, big
Memorial
no,
bro,
Day.
no
man.
doubt,
I
dog.
love
Good,
y'all. You know what it
No,
is, man. And y'all be easy.
good
All
look,
right,
bro.
all
bro.
Good
right,
look for
sir.
the comment.
All right. That
Yeah.
is funny. What are some of the specific things children shouldn't be doing that can prevent future life hardships?
You said what as parents
What
or
are some of
guardians?
the things that, yeah, what are some specific things children shouldn't be doing that can prevent future life hardships?
Um, yeah, like I said,
I
it
guess,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
cause
No, I
like I said,
guess,
I mean,
yeah,
like I
that,
said, the thing is, you were saying the child should be a child. What should the children do to prevent hardship? I think, man, they only adapt in whatever society you put them in, man. They only mimic what they see in the images of the people around them. And most of the teachers are, like I said, it starts at a home, man. Bro brought something really to an eye awakening for me because I wasn't even putting that in. If they got older spouses, because
siblings.
even
you mean
it's been,
siblings.
yes, older siblings. My fault, older siblings. Uh, you know what I'm saying? I have seen, growing up, they didn't want them to be around because they felt like the brother was a bad view for the other children because he's doing this and doing that. So they didn't want him to be like they can, and young kids love their older siblings. So they want to, they want to, even a girl act like her older sister, a boy want to emulate his older brother, stuff like that. Even with me, I always imitated my older cousin. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? This is just a habit that you'll look up to somebody close to your age, and or you like the way they act or see the stuff they do, you do the same thing too. Uh, that's something to think about because when you got a bunch of children, one of your children can influence a lot of the other children. And if we got children that doing something negative, it ain't even got to be the outside that's teaching that child to do something negative. It's just that your child is mimicking the images of the older sibling. So
I
it's
mean,
Well,
like,
that's
it ain't even got to be negative. It's
I
just
mean, but I'm just
the
saying, if
behavior.
the behavior is negative, if the behavior is negative,
I mean,
I'm
I'm
just
just
saying.
saying whether good, bad, or
Well, yeah,
indifferent,
eat all
they're
around the
gonna
board.
if they
They
if
can mimic,
they
yeah.
have siblings, they're going to gravitate towards them because they're the ones that they. If the parents are like, okay, well, hey, look, y'all stick together, y'all go together, whatever, do whatever, or they just in the house playing or whatever, they're gonna gravitate toward each other because hey, they're younger. All the younger kids are gonna gravitate to each other because they're like, hey, look, this is somebody that's around near the same age as I am. So I'm gonna go to them and whatever I see them doing, I'm gonna take pick up on that because it's like, yo, this is my big brother, my big sister. But that doesn't determine um, their their gender based off of just them hanging around them. It's just that they're influenced by, like Chris said, the actions that they're doing. You know what I mean? So
But you
I
got to
don't
look at
get
a
it.
so
child
this
is
goes
very
back.
a child is very easy to influence though. I mean, because they learning, so they just
Yeah.
mimicking what they seeing, man. That's the reason we are having this podcast is basically to let people look at it. Hopefully, some people look at it in a different angle. The things you set them forth today can it be good or damaging in the long run? I mean, the courses we setting these children on is it going to be beneficial for them to be leaders, strong people to build up the community, or is it going to be destructible? We got to realize I would want my grandchildren or anything to be prosperous. I wouldn't want them to the things they learn to damage them and then form in generation. You know what I'm saying? We went from greatness, like I said, Black Wall Street is I look at that and constantly look at that, trying to get the structure of how we were so strong mentally during a time when we supposed to be weak, the way history talks about it. But we were doing great things to now. I ain't gonna say we're not doing great things, but I'm looking at some things that I feel, maybe just my personal opinion, that we are kids are watching that they shouldn't be exposed to at the ages they are being exposed to. Some of the things, and
So
they are mimicking the activities that I feel like they shouldn't be mimicking.
got you. So how do we break the cycle of learned behavior that has negative implications on children? I tell you what I think. This is why it's important, and we've had this conversation before. why it's important that both parents be involved in the children's lives. You have a representation of a man and a female in these kids' lives. Um, that helps balance the learning process because you have a male perspective and you have a female perspective. And I say that because my son grew up his first part of his life with his mom and his sister, and I was a weekend dad. And I saw a lot of things, and this is no knock. She did a phenomenal job with raising my son. This is no knock against her, but I saw a lot of things in his development that concerned me. Um, he didn't. He was real emotional when it came to dealing with conflict. He shied away from it, and was real emotional. Some of the things, behavior he had when it came to certain activities, he gravitated towards because his mom and his sister, that was a part of their lifestyle. And my whole thing was I felt like he needed to spend more time around me, and it was very hard with him living on one side of town versus me being on another side of town. And I noticed the change in him once he came to live with me. Things turned around, and I'm not saying that his behavior. I'm not. It's no knock against his behavior that he picked up from his mom. I just noticed the change when you implemented a male in his world 24/7. And I say that because I should have did a better job being more visible when he was, with his mom. I was there, but I needed to be there a little more because he needed a little more balance. It would have been easier if he was with me 24/7, but that just wasn't a situation at that moment. So I say that to say that it's very important if we want to break this cycle that both parents are involved in the child's lives. A lot of times we have certain things going on, conflict between each other, and it prevents us from being on the same page. But you got to understand, like I said earlier, this child didn't ask to be there. And so no matter what you and the mom or you and the dad have going on, you got to look at the bigger picture because it's very imperative that you are there for your child. And weekends just ain't going to get it. Y'all want to add to it?
Yeah, let me say this. Just having a responsibility, with self. What I mean, being more responsible with self, because it's like, everybody can feel like they want to do what they want to do, say what they want to say, and be how they want to be. That's cool, but you gotta think about the child that you rearing, and how they pick up on those things, like we've been talking about since the whole thing started. It's like you got to be morally responsible for their development, and you got to be morally responsible for how you conduct yourself around your kids. Everybody has their own way of doing things, but just be responsible of how you conduct yourself in front of your kids, because your kids are very impressionable.
I mean, basically true. You know, kids always mimic what they see and very easy to influence. It's not even hard. Everything, the advertisement, the cartoons. I watch kids say the same thing the cartoon characters say, do the things the cartoon characters like. They watch their favorite shows, and you got to be aware of what they're being exposed to, even through the television, through cartoons. I done seen some things that was on YouTube. People were warning that was dark, and the cartoon was telling the kids to murder the parents and do all this crazy stuff. And most parents, they get off work, they just get the TV or the tablet or the whatever to the child, not thinking nothing serious about it. But you don't know the influence of the thoughts and ideas. These things plant thoughts. These things plant ideas, suggestions. And then when your child will get mad and get older, these words, is stunt programming. We gotta be more cautious of what's going on and what we're exposing children to. I mean, some people is nonchalant about it. Me, I look at it. Our children are innocent and they are our future, and we need to protect them. Like Derek said, uh, some kids don't have a male figure in their life, and they're raised by their moms, and some moms do wonderful jobs raising their children. Uh, Sometimes mom might need a male influence if they don't have a brother or grandfather or something that is an uncle like for that child. This is things we need to like. I appreciate every dude who go out here and get in little league for the kids playing football, baseball, basketballs because they're trying to get back to the community for the little boys. And I appreciate every woman that does something for these little girls to let them have some type of activity that shows them that this is womanhood, this is how ladies conduct themselves. That we got to do positive things, being especially us being black in America. Like I said, we had communities that raised us. I was fortunate. I ain't say I was a good kid, but I knew right from wrong because of the community would check me if I was cussing, and I was too young to be cussing out there around elderly people. They would check me in many different ways. Today, it's kind of hard to check these kids because these kids are totally different with guns, and they act a certain way, and they talk grown, and they cuss you, they will fight you, they'll fight the teachers. And the first thing I when I see that is how was they raised, what they was exposed to, why they disrespect the elderly, why did they talk back to the grown folks, why do they feel like can fight these grown folks. And this is maybe this is the thought of ideas of these young kids that was mimicked wrong, or I can't say how it was raised. The parents ain't even got to do that. It's just some activities they learn outside the house, and because I learned a lot of activities outside the house. But I'm just saying for these young kids, we need to protect them. We need to guide them. We need to show them right from wrong if we want them to be strong leaders and productive people in America.
Absolutely. This is a great conversation today, fellas. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to leave, our viewers with one last thing. Monitor what your kids watch on social media and TV. Chris talked about it. Whether you believe it or not, there are things out here working against us, and there's an agenda trying to be pushed. So make sure that you pay attention to what your kids are a part of. With that being said, you know what it is. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Get established.
This has been the Get Established Show Live. Join us on YouTube, of course, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and X. I haven't said it. For the fellas, myself, and our pushing producer. Peace.